Hey guys, one of my favorite books in the Bible is the book of Proverbs. It was written by the wisest man who has ever lived. And in Proverbs 14, he says this: "The wise are cautious and they avoid danger, but fools plunge ahead with reckless confidence." Today we're talking about patience, and maybe you're wondering, how can I practice patience? One method that we could use is called the HALT method. The HALT is a handy acronym that reminds us to ask 4 questions before we make a decision. Now, the first letter in the word HALT is H, which leads us to the first question we need to ask ourselves, which is, am I hungry? Now, understanding the need to eat is pretty straightforward, but it's not just making sure that we eat, but it's making sure that we eat well so that our body has the right nutrition to be able to operate at its full potential, leading us to make the best decision possible. Now, the second letter in our word HALT is A, which leads to the second question that we need to ask: am I angry? It's really good to recognize that anger is a perfectly normal emotion that we feel in life. It's also important to understand that when we are angry, it's going to be very difficult for us to practice patience. The best thing for you to do in that moment is to figure out what is the root cause of your anger. Maybe it's a conversation that you need to have with a person, or it's a situation that needs resolution. So we've asked ourselves, am I hungry? Am I angry? And then the third letter is L. And the question, am I lonely? We all have seasons where we just feel alone, like we're not spending the right amount of time with people. When we feel isolated, alone, lonely, withdrawn, it's important for us to halt and ask ourselves, have I connected with someone who cares about me lately? When you feel alone and withdrawn, pick up the phone and call a friend who cares about you. Reach out to a small group leader, or find an event that you can go to and be around people that care about you. Now, we talked about hunger, we've talked about being angry, we've talked about being lonely, and the last letter in HALT is T. And you need to ask the question, am I tired? Being tired takes a toll on us, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. And it's easy to do when you're running from home to school, to clubs, to church, to sports. That's why it's so important for us to make sure we're getting the right amount of sleep at night, but also that we are doing things in life that bring us energy, that make us feel refreshed and recharged every single day. The HALT method is such a great tool that acts as a reminder for us to meet basic needs that we could so easily forget. Because as we're talking about patience, remember that the wise, they're cautious and they avoid danger, but fools plunge ahead with reckless confidence.